Can I just say as well, I wasn't going to tell people this, Bri, but I've got to tell them because they need to know.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when I was doing my work on my computer, Brian came over and stood over my shoulder to see what I was doing.
Oh, come on, that's correct. I'm laughing that much.
Tell them what happened, Bri.
Well, we were there looking at it and I had my head down and just a little bit of...
Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we've got a bit of a private show for you, actually. We're going to be taking you indoors.
Indoors.
Yeah, and we're going to be chatting to you about some things private. We're also going to be just talking about houses, old houses in particular. We are house sitting at the moment. We're in Napier on the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand. We're house sitting. We're here for 5 weeks.
Yeah, the Hawke's Bay.
And we're in a really, really old house. So I thought, you know what, it'd be good to just talk about the 5 problems that we've come across since being in this old house, Bride. The 5 things we've been sitting here moaning about for the last two weeks.
Isn't it weird though? We built a house, didn't we, in 2011? Brand spanker. Never lived in a brand spanking new house before. And I don't know. I've always dreamed of living in an old house again.
And so have I, Brian. And that is what this podcast is all about. The old smoke and mirrors is sometimes what you see and what you imagine is going to be beautiful.
Yep.
It's just horrific. So let's move on with this positive podcast about house sitting in Napier. No, it's not going to be horrific. But I just want to talk about the 5 things. I'm going to be completely honest here, Brian. I got up this morning.
We have to be, don't we?
I got up this morning and I thought, right, I can either do a podcast where I'm just going to, be a little bit fake and just pretend, everything's fine, or I can just tell the truth.
Yeah.
So here we are in Napier, New Zealand, and we're house sitting. Let's just give you a little bit of a backstory. Let's just explain where we are, what we're doing, and what this house is. Because do you remember we told you we're coming over to Napier, and we had this big plan about taking a big holiday. Our original plan was to go to Canada for 6 weeks. We were going to go over to Canada. We were going to go on a road trip, and we were going to make these, just to have this major holiday.
$8,000, Liz?
Exactly, Bri. Yeah, that's how much it was going to cost, and we haven't got $8,000.
Yeah, but it's 8,000 that was just for car hire and plane tickets and things like that. And that was about $8,000. New Zealand.
So what we decided to do, we said no. Why would we leave New Zealand? We live in New Zealand. It is springtime. We live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Why are we leaving? Why don't we just stay in New Zealand and have a holiday here? And better still, why don't we go house sitting in New Zealand? Where we won't be paying anything for accommodation. We're not going to have to buy flights. It's going to cost us nothing. Yeah. Win-win, isn't it, Bri?
That's it.
So we just thought, right, that's what we're going to do. So we applied for these. Well, I applied for this house sit in Napier, New Zealand. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's 2 little cats. The owners are gorgeous. It's in a fantastic spot in Napier, right at the top of a hill in Napier, overlooking the whole city. It couldn't be lovelier.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
What?
It's old. So I go on the internet and I look on Trusted House Sitters. If you haven't used Trusted House Sitters, links all over our website, itsadrama.com, and also I'll drop some links in the description. We are massive house sitting fans. I mean, you get to travel the world, you get to meet people, you get to stay in lovely houses, you get to look after pets, and it costs you nothing. To me, that is fabulous.
It's a win-win, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
So I went on Trusted House Sitters and I found this house in Napier. And like I say, it's colonial. It's got big wraparound decks.
Balconies, verandas, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. It looks a little bit like how I would imagine a house in Southern America. Is that right? Like, those where they sit on the porch and they rock and they've got like very ornate, like decks around.
Yeah, I showed my brother today on FaceTime audio, and he said, "Oh wow, it's like an old New Orleans house."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That colonialism feel about it. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And as you know, if you're a regular listener of this podcast, which obviously you are, you knew how excited we were about coming to stay here because I don't know, there's just something beautiful about old buildings, isn't there, Brian?
There is. It is because everything. There was no. Do you know what it was? Back then, labour was so cheap. So that's when you got real sort of jobs done, like, you know, and you just look at the workmanship in the woodwork and stuff, and the finishing on the skirting boards and the architraves and everything in here. It's just gorgeous. You just couldn't afford to do it nowadays, you know, on a budget anyway.
So before I jump in and tell you the 5 things that, well, we're struggling with, to be honest, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're struggling with in this house.
We are.
I told you it was going to be a personal podcast, didn't I? They're always the best, those ones, though, aren't they, Bri? You know, when someone really tells you all their secrets.
Yeah, it's like we get up close with you, and that's what it's about, isn't it?
These are my favourite kind of podcasts, I've got to say.
Me too.
So before we tell you the 5 things we've really struggled with, I'm also going to share with you towards the end of the show the oldest house in the world, Bri.
Oh, really? And we're in it right now.
No, we're not. It's only built in 1912, wasn't it?
No, yeah, exactly.
Right. So, Bri, first things first. We get here, we turn up. It's so impressive. We drive down the driveway. It's beautiful. You walk inside. This house is filled with antiques. It's got wood everywhere. It's got these wraparound decks. It's got old furniture. They've got lovely style. The owners have got really nice style.
Because, I mean, where we are in Napier is the Art Deco capital of the world. So there's lots of like 1930s sort of sofas and things, isn't there, as well? Plus like Chesterfield-y looking things as well.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because you always want what you haven't got. Because I noticed when I said to the owner, when we met the owners, when you trusted house sit, you meet the owners and they show you around, and especially when you're staying for 5 weeks, and they tell you all the rules, and you know the rubbish goes out on that day, and the cats like to be fed at this time, and you know you get to know them. And the lady said to me, I said, oh, this house, because I was gushing, I was absolutely gushing. Oh my God, I love your house. This is just gorgeous. I wish I was you. I love your dress. You've got really nice hair.
And it was 25
wish
degrees,
I was going to America on holidays. And she said, oh yeah, but I've seen your house, because on our Trusted House Sitters profile, we've got a little video that does a tour around our house. So people know we don't come from, out
of Mongolia.
We're not, we come from like a nice house sort of thing. So it gets you more view, it gets you more
It gets your cred up.
It does,
to a
doesn't
degree.
it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah. And she said, well, I've seen your house, and your house is lovely and light, and it's got gorgeous views. And I was doing what all English people do. And they're like, oh, no, my house is rubbish.
Not as nice as this.
My house is rubbish compared to yours. You're much better.
Yeah. Why couldn't we live here?
Fatwit is complete failures.
Our house is shit.
Anyway. So the 5 things that... So that they are off. Hang on, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So off she goes on her holidays to San Francisco, running up the driveway, and leaves me and Brian sitting in this beautiful colonial old house. Mm-hmm. Oh, we've been here for 2 weeks now, haven't we, Brian?
That's it. And then it went dark.
Number 1 thing that we're struggling with in this house, right? I'm going to go through the 5 things, and you can tell me if you agree with them,
Okay.
Brian. What do you think is the number 1 thing, Bri? What would you say is I've got them written down, but you can't see my thing. Go on, Bri, be honest. What's the one thing that's driving you?
The one thing that is driving me mad is
Don't say the F word.
It's flipping cold. It's freezing in here, isn't it? It's like a frigging fridge. Can you remember when we used to work in Greece, Liz, and the owner of the cafe, he said, you need to get something out of I can't do a Greek accent because I can't remember right now. He said, you need to get something out of the frigo. And I'm like, what is a frigo? And I'm looking around thinking, and he's pointing at the refrigerator, and the name of the fridge was a frigo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you frigo freezing?
I'm frigo freezing.
Yeah.
I'm as frigo freezing as that fridge.
Oh, so here's the thing. This house has got a wood burner.
Yes.
In the main living room.
It's an inset wood burner where the old fireplace would have been. We're actually in the billiard and smoking room at the moment.
That's what I mean. It's posh. It
really
was
posh for its time. It was really posh.
And the living room opens out to a huge dining room with big like bay windows overlooking Napier.
Yeah, it's real Victorian-y sash windows and stuff like that.
And then the dining room it's got big, massive wooden open doors that they don't close. And that opens into the kitchen area.
Yeah, which is not a big kitchen.
No,
is it?
well, it's big enough.
It's a big idea, but it's not.
It's got a big island in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's got a small.
It's got white tiles. It's got loads of lovely artwork. We'll get to that in a minute anyway.
Yeah.
So in all that downstairs area, and there's also like a bedroom and a bathroom and a toilet and a massive hallway and flights of stairs. in all that area, in that space, there's one wood burner and one, what's it called? Heat pump.
It's a floor mounted heat pump. So the heat pump sits outside and then the unit sits inside, which can do air conditioning, I think cooling and heating.
I've never been so cold in all my life, Bri.
Do you know what? It's a bit of a cold snap because it's gorgeous blue sky, isn't it? And it gets up to about 21 degrees in the day, which would be around about 70 odd degrees in Fahrenheit. And at night, it gets down to 3 degrees, which is just 3 degrees is 3 degrees above freezing. So, you're around about, I don't know, what would that be, 45 degrees?
Cold is what that is.
It's cold
Flipping
in Fahrenheit.
freezing. Frigo.
Yeah, it gets really cold. And so
I'm going to write Frigo down. That can be the
Frigo.
title of this podcast. I might call it that, Frigo.
Yeah, Frigo podcast.
Frigo freezing.
And in the mornings, we're just not used to it because
we're bloody not.
We've got underfloor heating in our bathrooms and towel rails that come on timers and things and full central radiators and all that sort of stuff.
Now, upstairs in this house, so you go up this big flight of beautiful wooden stairs. And you can see, can't you, how much I love it. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, yeah. I mean, there's no carpet on the stairs. You can see where the carpet runner would have been because it's all been stripped back and even what we call sarking is on the walls. So there's just wood on the walls. It's not actually, it would have had Hessian on it, then painted or something like that, but it's all been stripped back to the basics.
And you go up and you go into the bedroom me and Brian are in and massive tall ceilings. What's that stuff around the, carving, what's it called when you go around the top of the room?
Coving.
The coving.
Yeah, the coving around, yeah.
And all big skirting boards and huge sash windows overlooking Napier on one wall.
Yeah.
And then on the front wall facing you is double doors out onto a huge deck that overlooks Napier.
Yep.
So absolutely stunning.
Yep.
I just want you to be, I want you to be able to picture this.
Classic royal palm trees in the in the actual proper palm trees.
But the bedroom
in the garden.
No heating.
No, not a thing. Not a sausage.
Nothing.
Yep. Not even a lucky blanket, Liz.
No. So Bri had to go out and buy me a hot water bottle. Well, buy us a hot water bottle, to be honest.
We bought a sausage hot water bottle,
didn't
we?
Yeah, we have. We've got
it's
a little
the best sausage you've ever seen, isn't it, that?
We've got a little sausage dog hot water bottle now. I literally lay in bed in the morning. I can't get out of bed, Bri.
I know.
It's flipping freezing.
Yeah. You actually, if you open the window, it lets the heat in from outside.
Yeah. I thought that the other day when we went out. We went out for a coffee and I walked out the front door. I thought, oh, feels like someone's just holding a heater on me.
It's like in Florida when you walk out the air conditioning into the warmth, isn't it? You feel the humidity and everything like that.
Can I just say as well, I wasn't going to tell people this, Bri, but I've got to tell them because they need to know.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when I was doing my work on my computer, Brian came over and stood over my shoulder to see what I was doing.
Oh, come on, back to the script. I'm laughing that much.
Tell them what happened, Bri.
Well, we were there looking at it and I had my head down and just a little bit of snot dribbled out my nose because it was so cold.
So, like, what's that Dickens film called? Where he sits there with his nose dripping.
Scrooge.
Yeah. There's you.
It was.
With your flipping nose dripping because you're that cold, Bri.
I know, because, you don't want to...
It's not romantic.
No, it's supposed to be spring and it's supposed to be quite warm, but it was a bit of a cold snap coming from the south, isn't it? Because obviously Antarctica's the next stop from New Zealand. And it's just been a bit chilly at night.
It is.
And in the afternoon, because these rooms are...
Nose drippingly chilly.
Drippingly chilly. Yeah, this house faces, really, it's facing south, isn't it? So it never gets...
iceberg.
These two rooms never get any sun, apart from first thing in the morning, but the palm trees are in the way and it stops the heat coming in.
Chop them down, wouldn't you? Get them out.
They'll be straight out. Yeah.
What could you do to make this house warmer, though, Bri? Imagine if you bought this. Imagine if this was your dream home, which it could be.
It could be, yeah.
I mean, we couldn't afford it for a start because it's probably worth millions, but how would you live in this with no heat?
Well, you would. I'd straight away, I've already looked at it and I'm like, yeah, you can put a full heating system in this place.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, it would have to be run off a heat pump.
But
so
wouldn't it make all the wood crack and all the oldness ruin?
No, because you don't just crank it up to, flat out in the first day. You bring it up over a week and just bring it up each day. But you just, you have a weather compensating system which just looks at the outside temperature and then puts the equivalent heat in the radiators.
So there you go. There's number one of our things that we're really struggling with in our old property.
Bit of warmth.
Yes, a bit of warmth. Number two that I thought Do you know what? I thought, yep, oh, look at those. Oh, how beautiful. It reminds me of that film, Gone with the Wind. That's what I thought when I saw it. I thought, look at it. I'm going to be running up and down those all day long in my nice flowy nightie. What do you think it is, Bri, that I'm struggling with?
Running up and down the stairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's a pear? Apple and pears.
The apple and pears.
The apple and pears.
Up the apple and pears, mate.
Bloody hell. I couldn't live in a house with stairs, Bri.
I know, I've gone back to
Knees are killing me, going up and down them all day. They are, Bri. I'm used to my low-level, one-level property.
the bungalow. Bungalow.
Oh, but I love the look of stairs.
I like to look at them, but every time you come down, you go, oh, geez, I've left my phone back up on the dressing table or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or you come back down and it's like, oh, my socks are upstairs. It's just a pain in the arse.
Do you know what, Bri?
What?
Do you think we've turned into those people? Because you get to a certain age, don't you, where you can't live in a house with stairs anymore. I always used to think when people said that, oh, shut up, as if. What are you on about? You have to move to a one-storey house because you can't go up and down
your
stairs.
Zimmer frame won't get up the stairs.
No, I'm not talking about Zimmer frame. I'm talking about normal people who are like, not normal people.
Normal people. We're
like,
not normal.
No, but I mean people who are only in their 50s or 60s.
All right.
They're still very young and they're going on about the stairs.
Here's the thing. If you've only known stairs, you don't have a problem with it. And that's all we knew in England. Every house, apart from the odd one, which was the bungalow, had a bungalow. Just means one-story house, as in ground level, and you just were used to it. So, I mean, Bath was a nightmare, Liz, because some of the houses there, they were like 4 floors, and it was like living in a tower because there's only one room on each floor, and so your kitchen was on the first floor, the second floor would have been your living room, the third floor was a bedroom or something like that, and the fourth and the top floor was another bedroom. So those, and they had a basement, so they had 5 levels, and it was just like, what a nightmare. But if you're used to it, that's all you know, and then you go and live in a flat house, a one-story house, and ground floor only, and it's a breeze. You just walk around, and it's just like
your knees don't click.
Yeah, that's it. It's just.
I feel like I'm getting so old saying that. I really feel like I'm getting old because the thing is,
no, it's not. It's just the norm, isn't it? Like if your house has got stairs, it's got stairs.
You just get used to it.
And as soon as you say to someone, "Oh, I can't live with stairs again," they look at you as if like, "Why? What's wrong with you?"
I don't want to be that sort of person though that says, "Oh no, I can't have a house with stairs." But I'm telling you the truth.
No,
yesterday,
I totally agree.
When you said, "Oh, I don't know what you'd left upstairs, your cup or something," and I almost wanted to just have an argument with you and just say, "Well, go and get it yourself," because I'm not going up all those stairs.
It's sometimes you get a nice view from your bedroom and stuff like that, but there's nothing better than just opening in the summer, just opening the doors in your bedroom and just walking out into your garden completely naked. Yeah.
I must admit though, when I think of those houses with, well, you can't be completely naked, can you? Because you're there with your drippy nose and your
drippy nose and underpants.
You wobbly.
God, spit it out, girl.
You wobbly sausage hot dog. So don't try and make out that you're standing on the deck with your nakedness. Anyway, but yeah. Bri, those houses in Bath though, they look so beautiful.
They do look gorgeous, those Georgian houses, built in the 1700s.
But again,
absolutely gorgeous
smoke
houses.
And mirrors, because it's like what looks nice, actually living in it is a different thing.
Completely different thing, yeah.
Right, number 3 of the thing that this is driving Bri mad. You know what a clean freak Bri is. You know how he likes to have a nice clean kitchen, a nice clean surface.
Yep.
Now, in this kitchen that we're staying in, it's got a big cooker with all rings and like gas rings and ovens.
Yeah, like a range, as you would call it.
It's got a range. And above the cooker, it's all tiled, all nice and white, isn't it, Bri? And around the white tiles is this big wooden, ornate, antique thing that goes round. Looks beautiful.
Yep.
But Bri, covered in fat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a bit of grease on it now.
It has, Bri, because there's no extraction.
No extraction. And they're all 3-metre ceilings or 10-foot ceilings, if you want to call it, so they're kind of high. Because a standard house would be 2.4 or 8 foot. But if you all the older houses used to go from 10 to 16 foot ceilings, which was it's huge, 16 foot ceilings. But these are about 10 foot. And it's just, actually, the kitchen is probably more like 12 foot, isn't it? Because it's really high.
How do you feel, Brian, when today, when we went...
I look up 12 foot up and just see all the grease.
Are you tempted to just get up there in your underpants and give it a good wash down?
Get a hot, soapy cloth out.
Because we went for a coffee this morning and we were trying to decide what to have for lunch. And there's a really nice fish shop here. And Bri said, why don't we buy some calamari and we'll take it home and I'll fry us some calamari. And I said to you, didn't I? I said, Brian, that isn't going to be relaxing for you to do that. Because I know you wouldn't be able to relax, Bri.
Well, it's not so much wouldn't
dripping there with your nose, dripping in the calamari.
Do you know what? I was
flipping filthy.
Yeah. All I was thinking, I didn't want an old smoke and mirrors house with fish involved as well, because I just think that's going to stink for days, isn't it? A fishy house.
So this is what responsible house sitters we are, you see, because we're constantly thinking of like, no, we can't make a smell in their kitchen because no extractor.
Come on.
I know.
It's only a fan through the wall. It's not that, it would look actually really nice, a proper big, because it's all stainless steel worktops and stuff, isn't it? So a nice stainless steel extractor hood over the range would be lovely. But there's nothing.
You lost it a bit the other day, didn't you, Bri?
Why?
No, we're down in the cafe and you got really upset.
About what?
You said to me, I'm sick of this. This isn't like being on holiday at all.
No, I did. Yeah.
I come down, I'm doing all the dishes.
Yep.
I'm absolutely I'm wiping everything down, getting everything clean. Yeah, well, the thing is, it makes it all the harder because when you've got an extractor, extractors extract the
grease.
Does it, Bri?
Yes,
does
it does.
Onto the
Onto
dishes
those,
up through it like magic?
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
I go to bed and when I come down in the morning, they're all done.
I know. Well, they are. I'll stay in bed because you're too cold to get out, and it's like, leave it to me.
Oh, no, but I did feel a bit for you, and I made a conscious effort then. Did you notice that when we came home, I said, right, I'm going to wash. Right, I'm washing the dishes.
Well, you've done them once since you've been here.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm yeah. There's other things I'm doing.
Like what?
Number 4. Moving on to number 4.
Number 3. What? Like what?
No, number 4 is what that I spend my time doing. Number 4 thing that is completely different with this house is that the beds have all got sheets and blankets on.
I know. What?
Sheets and blankets.
Why would anybody? It's a bit like the stairs thing, isn't it? You know, once you've gone over to a quilt in England, they used to call them the continental quilt because people on the continent
Cheer
have
up
quilts.
a bit. You sound a bit miserable. Cheer up yourself.
No, I'm not.
Stop
I'm just saying it
with
as
your
it
hands
is.
in your knees. I know, but you're getting more and more. You're crouching over
I'm
more
not
and more
but you're
now.
getting louder and louder.
I know because I'm aware that this podcast is like we're going to.
Yeah, but we were allowed to. It's a funny.
Go
we're
on
going
then.
down
Go
the
on then.
stuff.
Tell me. Go on.
This is English humour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the only way you get through things sometimes is by being able to laugh at it. Because if you don't, you would just go down and down and down, wouldn't you? Like, you know.
Now, again, Bri, have you ever been on one of those tours? Well, I know you have. You know when you go around and look around at those old stately homes, like when you go to Lanhydrock in
like
Cornwall.
a National Trust or English.
And all the beds, they've got these sheets and like beautifully crisp white sheets and blankets and eiderdowns and bedspread, and then it's all folded over. And that is what these beds are like, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah.
And no, not a bit. It is.
Yeah, but
that's what they're like.
Yeah, but when you get in a bed with sheets, it's like
dribbling.
Your feet are just getting squashed as you get further down the bed.
God.
And it's just like, so hang on a minute, my toes are killing. It's like putting a pair of too small of shoes on. So you get out and pull it all out.
Oh, loving it, aren't we, Brian? We're flipping loving here. We love being in Napier.
Gits.
No, I know. I'm sorry you're getting this. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening. I mean, we just had to tell someone, you know, we're desperate, aren't we, Brian?
If we think it, somebody else will think it as well.
Yeah, but at
sure they would.
first, when I got into that bed, because as a kid
You
growing
used to
up,
shoehorn to get into it because the sheets are that tight. Hospital corners and
it
everything.
looks so nice, though.
It does look nice.
It looks far more classy than a old quilt thrown on there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. You've got to admit, again, this is what I'm saying. It looks
It's all about the looks.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely beautiful. But like you said, getting into it, it's either too heavy and then you kick your feet out to the side because you feel like you're pinned in. And then you get too cold because every time you turn over, the sheets are just like so slidey because they're crispy cotton and they're just flying off your back.
Just the sheets are hovering now because they're not tucked in.
So we have said, why don't we just, instead of being moaning little swines who get on the podcast and moan about the blankets and sheets, why don't we just take ourselves off, Spry? Why don't we take ourselves offs?
Yes, I'll get some offs.
Offs down to the shops and buy ourselves a quilt. Why don't we just do that?
Because
Too mean, that's why.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it comes down to, Liz. You can go and get yourself a $150 quilt or whatever it is and
put an end to this misery.
Yeah, that's it.
But
and take it home with you because we've got the car. So,
I know. Should we just do that?
I think we'll do that today.
Shall we?
Yeah. Should we do that and then we'll put a picture on the podcast?
Here's us.
Oh, how happy we are.
Here's us, no longer pinned to the bed with our sheets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that one. That was what are we, number 4?
Yeah.
The blankets on the bed. Right, number 5, before we jump in and tell you about the oldest house in the world. Well, it is kind of in the world.
Is
but
it?
number
Cave.
5. And I really, really didn't want to go down this route because I can't be doing with people who say, oh, old houses are scary. But, last night, Bri,
Yeah.
I was too scared to go up to the bedroom on my own.
Every night you're too scared to go to the bedroom on your own.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's shadowy.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah, because the light at the top of the stairs has got a dimmer on it, and when it's bright, it's really bright. So you tend to turn it down, and then you come out of the sort of the room that you've been in, and you go into the hall, and it's quite dark, and it does feel very atmospheric. That because like I said before, you have sarkin, which is it's a hardwood, it's a dark hardwood which goes between the studs in the wall, and it's like a cladding that goes over it to strengthen it up and for bracing and stuff. And like I say, you then used to put something over it to cover it, but they've taken all that off, and it's just this dark wood. It looks like you're walking into a shed.
No, it doesn't.
No, it looks
nice.
Well, it does and it doesn't. Because but what I was saying, it's like it does and it doesn't. So the whole house had been done like it at one time. They're now reinstating the plaster on the walls and everything else, But it just makes that whole at night. In the day, it's nice, but at night, it makes it look kind of a bit creepy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's lots of paintings.
Yeah.
And they are
A little bit abstracty.
They are a bit abstract. Yeah. And I keep looking and thinking,
I'm just
looking
those
over, eyes looking at me.
I'm looking at the one on the famous one of the blue-faced woman.
Yeah, why's she got a blue face?
I don't know. She's got red lips, blue face, and she wears a yellow dress.
Well, it looks like a sort of oriental. I don't know. It's like that's.
But that's a famous one, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
It's like a print, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful painting, but her face is blue, and her eyes keep following me every time I walk around the room. So I'm getting a bit freaked out.
Yeah.
So again, it's like that's. And I'm really annoyed at myself for saying that because come on, Liz, really, just because you're living in an old house, you're going to get spooked out.
Yeah,
it's like something the kids would say.
I know, but it's one of those things with an old house, you tend to think, oh, there's people over the last 150 years that have lived in, or last 140 years, whatever it is, have lived in this house, and someone must have died in this house.
Well, so what if they have died? Are you scared?
No. I don't get things like that don't really scare me. But I do at times feel the hairs go up on the back. Yeah, dribbly nose. And if it really starts to dribble and the hairs go up on the back of my neck, then I know something's around.
Oh, Brian. Do you know what? I think you should be opening yourself up to more. I don't know, Brian. I always get the feeling when I say to you, oh, you scared of that, Brian? Or did that worry you? You're like, no. And I just think if you just be relaxed a little bit and you've got to admit, you must be a little bit scared in this house. Just put your manliness to the side. Your little... No, I won't go there.
I don't think it's something that scares me, but it's something that makes my senses tingle. I think there's a difference because it doesn't really frighten me because I just think, well, hello, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to go, ooh. It's not like in the movies where they're going to start ripping your head off and stuff like that, and blood coming down the walls. It's just like, come on, what if it does happen? Then I probably would shit myself and run out the door.
Thank you. That's all I want to see.
Stairs or no stairs. Watch me go down these.
Flying down there on my sausage dog. Right, so there are all our 5 things that we're struggling with. I've got to tell you, and we had to tell you. We had to let you know because otherwise, who else are we going to tell? So the 5 things that, although this house, we are loving it, it is beautiful. Sometimes when you see things on pictures and on Instagram and on, in magazines, and you're like, oh, I would love a house like that.
Yeah.
I
Think
have
about
changed
it.
my mind a little bit. Yeah.
Have a little think about it. A lot of dust in here, isn't there, Liz?
There is.
You know?
Well, it just needs a good clean bright. It needs
Well,
someone to
it
come
was-
in here
it-
and get on with it.
Yeah, it does. Who are we going to get?
Right. Guess what? I Googled the oldest house in the world.
Yep.
Actually, there's lots of, and I didn't want to just know the oldest house in the world. I wanted to know the oldest house in the world that is still inhabited. Is that word? Inhabitable.
Oh, it's still someone living in it.
It's
Yep.
still lived
Yep.
in. And there's
By
loads. There's
real
loads.
people or the other world
No,
people?
real people.
Real
Brian.
people,
Not
eh?
blue-faced people.
No.
Real people.
Real people.
Not red lips.
Yeah, not yellow dress and a hooly skirt.
So there's lots of places around the world. And if you just Google oldest houses, Iran, Italy, Mexico, they're all there. But the one that took my fancy, simply because it was in England.
Right.
So Luddersdown Court in Kent, which is an old house,
Yeah.
big rambling old English house.
I like it around that area. It's nice,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous,
All
Brian.
the thatch roofs and things.
This house sits on 23 acres of land.
Yeah,
Imagine mowing that.
I know.
Mm.
Get some sheep in for that, eh?
It's a Grade 1 listed building,
Oh, lucky.
and it dates back to the year 1000.
Wow.
I know.
It's quite old, isn't it then?
That is very, very old. How old
Yeah.
is that?
Well, that's 1023
23 years old.
old. Yeah.
So it's built of stone and flint, and it was said to be owned by William the Conqueror's half brother, who was called Odo.
All right,
Odo
Odo.
lived there,
Yeah. He was a bit smelly, that guy, wasn't he?
and he didn't have any drips coming out of his
Yeah,
nose. He
just
was a
smell.
real man, Bri.
Yeah.
When you're the half brother of William the Conqueror,
Yeah.
you're not going to stand in there with your knees knocking and your nose dripping, are you, Bri?
Can you imagine having a brand new little baby and here it is, and it's like, here's Odo. Yeah, I know. Oh, really? He's William and I'm called Odo.
Yeah, exactly. How did that happen?
Come on.
I want to be William the Conqueror.
Yeah.
But
Odo the Conqueror. It doesn't
Now-
have the ring, does it?
if you Google this house, if
Yeah.
you Google Luddersdown Court in
Yeah.
Kent, oh, Bri, you'd think, you'd look at it and you'd be like, oh, if I won the lottery, that's what I would buy.
Yeah.
I would love to live in Kent in England on my 23 acres. But now, people, we can tell you
Yeah, don't do it.
it's not. It's not all as it seems, is it, Bri?
No. Do you know what, Liz? We had a house made of flint and limestone.
Did we?
Excuse me, yeah. And it was built in the 1700s.
Which one? Lilac Cottage?
Lilac Cottage.
Yeah. I was going to talk about that.
What a nightmare that was.
Oh, God. Why?
Because, well, it just leaks.
You're a happy lad, aren't you, mate?
When the rain drops,
You're a happy chap.
See, well, years ago they used to make walls 3 foot thick, or a meter thick, 3 foot thick, just to stop the rain coming. So they would go in about sort of half a meter, the water, and then it would run down through the wall and out the other and out the bottom. That's why they made them so thick. It wasn't for strength; it was to stop the rain coming in. And this thing just used to leak all the time. I had to seal it with all this fancy silicone sealant stuff, sprayed it all on, and still came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice house, though. That was called Lilac Cottage, and it was an old post office, wasn't it?
It was, and a brothel.
Yeah, and a brothel, yeah. And it was a beautiful house, but God, that was damp.
Yeah. Some great ghosts in that house.
Do you remember upstairs and when we invited your mum and dad to stay, and they were like, because Brian's mum and dad, they like their comforts. And we said, and we were so proud, and we're like, we live in a cottage now. We've bought this really old cottage, and you're going to come and stay. And we put them in that little tiny box room, and it stunk of damp, didn't it? Do you remember? And
Yeah,
your mum,
that's
I
the
just
one,
remember
yeah.
her. I could just see her nose twitching when she walked in.
It had a shared bathroom, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
With a door each, one to one bedroom, one to the other bedroom,
But
because it
again,
was so small.
gorgeous.
It was pretty.
And so I suppose what the thing is here is like we've got this brand new house in New Zealand. We
Well,
built.
it's not brand new. It's 12 years
Oh
old
yeah, I
now.
suppose it is. But what I'm saying is we built it.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So to me, it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's like no one else has ever lived in there. No one else has ever touched those walls. Only us have ever lived in there.
Yeah.
What are you looking at your watch for?
The wood delivery's in 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll hurry up then.
To heat the house
But
up.
yeah, I suppose what I'm saying is you always think, oh no, I'd love an old house. And then people probably in old houses are looking at people in new houses thinking, I'd love a new house.
Yeah.
And with a new house comes the fact that there's no history there. There's no character. You
No,
know?
and
There's
it
a big
is-
thing character,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But that's why I was going back to the start. You can't put the same character in because it would cost you so much to do all this woodwork. You need a proper carpenter to do it, and a joiner and stuff like that. And that's just what is not here in the new house. Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed that episode all about our positive, wonderful time that we're having. And we are.
We're having a great time.
Having a great time.
Yeah. You know we always would.
We've been working on the audiobook. We're almost, I know I say this every single week, but I promise you.
It is finished.
It is finished.
It's just the final few tiny, tiny bits to go onto it.
And guess what we're doing? I don't want to spoil it and I don't want to be like spoil the surprise, but what we've done is we've got footage, sound effects footage, like real footage from our video.
Videos off our world trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Of all the places we went to in the world. And what we've done is at the beginning of each chapter. So when I start the chapters and I'm like, here, life in New York and
or Sri Lanka or something like that.
I can't remember any words in my book. But underneath, for the first couple of minutes of each chapter, you hear the sound effects of that country, of that place. And so when you get this audiobook, and I hope you do, I just think you're going to love it. You're going to love the way I read it to you and just... I don't know. There's just something really special about a narrator reading their own books. An author narrating their own books.
Yes. Yeah.
But when you get it and you hear it, just remember that all the sound effects you can hear are real.
We've
taken them from that trip.
Yeah. And it would have been, if we're saying, hey, we're in New York, then there we were filming, walking down the street in New York. You can't see the video, but it's what it's all about, isn't it?
Okay, so before I leave you, just remember, if you want to try out house sitting yourself, we have got a whopping 25% discount that we can offer you. So it means that your yearly subscription to a house sitting membership, I don't know, it costs something like $110. It's cheap. With a discount, it's really, really cheap.
Yes, it is. It's probably, I always go in New Zealand dollars, but in US dollars, it's just over $100.
Yeah.
It's cheap as chips.
It is. And that's the price of we always say this, and it's so true. First night accommodation.
It's
so
not even the first night, is it? Half a night sometimes.
Yeah. So if you want to grab yourself a membership for the house sitting, then you can do that. I'll leave the description below and you can get 25% off. And then you too can go and stay in old houses and, just live your life and make podcasts about it.
I think our link is www.itsadrama.com/trusted.
Trusted.
Just do that. And you don't need to find the links. Just that is it. I'm pretty sure because I made that link.
Yeah.
www.itsadrama.com/trusted. Hit that and go to the page.
And don't forget to share this episode with people who you think need a good laugh and who would like to find us. Don't forget, if you can leave a review on our podcast, we would be so grateful to you for that.
Makes a huge difference.
And actually, next week, I'm going to read out a couple of those reviews. I'm going to.
Well, let's do
Remind
that
me. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being you and all your wonderful messages and emails and comments that you send to me and Bri. You can email us at Liz@itsadrama, Brian@itsadrama. Just say hi. We answer every single one of our emails, and there's nothing better than getting an email from you and saying, hi, I'm listening from this place.
Yeah, with a cup of coffee or whatever.
Just do it, please. Yeah. And we'll read it out and just answer you. And it just makes us feel so good when you reach out and say hi. So until next time, stay safe, stay happy, and I will speak to you soon.
And I just want to say, if you ever do, or you do live in an old house and you hear, get out, then get the frig out, okay?
Get the frig
Just
out.
Get out as quick as you can. Never go back in, because you know what happens then. So, kia kaha, stay strong, kia u, stay true, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, get out.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We have absolutely loved your company.
If you enjoyed the show, then head on over to your favourite podcasting app, leave us a review. Obviously, it's got to be the 5. Don't bother if it's going to be 1.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I mean, just stay where you are. If you're not going to give me a nice review, I don't want to know.
You can leave us whatever you want, but let's just say that we prefer the higher the better.
Yes, obviously. Come on now.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, just with someone who needs cheering up or a little bit of laughter or just needs inspiring. Sharing is caring.
Hit the share button, help us along and help everybody else, and join the club.
Yes. And don't forget, if you would like to be part of my email newsletter, where I will send you a very, very real and honest email every single week, inspiring you, making you laugh, just being part of your life, then head on over to
www.itsadrama.com/newsletter.
Say it again, Bri.
www.itsadrama.com/newsletter.
I will wait for you there. I can't wait to get to know you better.
Should we just do a little bit more?
No, let's go now, Bri. Let's go. Get the wine out of the fridge and let's go.
I'm gone.
Okay, bye.
See you now. Bye.
Bye.